What's up guys, my name is Ace, and it's time for another Q&A. Now, just in case you guys aren't aware of how the Q&As work, if you have any questions for me, let me know in the comment section of this video, and I'll try to answer them in the next Q&A. So all the questions from this one are from the comment section of the last Q&A. Hope that makes sense to you guys. Also, one thing to point out, with the questions, a lot of the questions that you see on screen, you might be seeing people post like Xbox One or PS4 control freaks please or something like that. That's simply because I was doing a giveaway at the same time where people were required to let me know which console they were on. So just ignore that. It's totally cool. It has nothing to do with the questions. Alright, so let's jump into the first question here. So this one is from Andre Hanania. The question is, you are a very thoughtful and logical thinker. Were you always like this as a kid, or did you used to have that YOLO whatever lifestyle? I've always been more of the logical, think before you act kind of a person, for the most part. I can kind of turn that off. I've learned to turn that off over the years in a lot of like social situations, because it's not always the best idea to be like 100% logical, I've found, because you just get labeled as kind of a nerd and everything, and people want to stay away from you. So I've learned to be able to turn that off, but for the most part, yes, that's how I've always been, even since I was like a baby, apparently. My parents have told me my first words were actually a sentence. They were getting worried about me because I wasn't talking for a very long time. Like, all the other kids my age were starting to say words like mama and dada and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I guess I was back then too. I refused to talk until I could form a sentence. And I don't know what my first sentence was or my first words, but it was in the form of a sentence, which I found is pretty interesting. I'm kind of an awesome baby, just saying. But yeah, I've always been a logical thinker, but I know at the same time when to turn that off. So this next question is actually two questions. First one is, have you ever skydived? And no, I haven't. Not yet. For the past few years now, I've been saying, okay, this summer I'm going to do it. And because I live in Canada, basically I'm limited to a few months in the summer, and you don't want to be skydiving in the winter. I don't think you can. Around here, I don't think any companies run in the winter for skydiving. And every summer for the past 2 years, I've been saying, yeah, this year I'm going to do it. And I keep putting it off, and then it's like, oh crap, summer's over. Well, I guess it's too late now. And I'm kind of getting that feeling right now again. I think the season is kind of coming to an end. There still might be a chance to go at some point this summer, but I don't think it's going to happen. I do want to go though. I'm not really afraid of going. It's more so just not really finding the time, just going out and doing it. Just saying, okay, we got to do it. Let's go. We're going this time. I've never gotten to that point. I do want to go though. Hopefully next year I'm going to force myself to go, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And the second question is, what is your favorite color socks? You know what? I'm not a big fan of colored socks, so I'm going to have to go with white. I'm pretty basic, you know? Just white socks. Next question comes from Bob Smith. If you could play any sport professionally, what would it be? Now, I thought about this for a little bit. I was thinking like hockey or baseball or something, because they get paid a lot of money and everything. Then I thought they work really hard. They like train really, really hard, and that's like all they do. So I was watching darts professionally on TV the other day. Don't ask why, it was just on TV. I would love to be a professional darts player, because they get fat, they drink beer, and they throw darts. And that's professional. So yeah, I'm going to be a pro darts player. This next question, I was kind of hesitant about answering, but I'm going to answer it. It's going to end up with a flood of emails, but that's okay. That's okay. This is from COD Fanboy. Question is, would you help someone who is new at YouTube to get out there and get a few thousand subscribers? So, the answer to this is, I'm always open to answering questions and providing direction for people. I am not necessarily open to collaborations with just anybody, especially people with less than 1,000 subscribers. I'm sorry, but it's not a mutually beneficial thing for me to do at this point, is to partner up with someone with less than 1,000. It's just kind of the way it is. My time is very valuable to me, and it just doesn't make sense for me to be doing that. But I will provide directions. If you have any questions about YouTube, specific questions, not just how do I grow on YouTube, please don't ask me that. But if you have any specific questions, if you'd like me to take a look at your channel and give you some feedback, you can email me at my business email, exclusiveace@gmail.com. It'll be linked down below. Keep in mind, don't expect a really quick response, and I hope I can get to every one of you that ask questions about that. I'm usually pretty good with this. I get questioned on this quite a bit. I get approached by smaller YouTubers simply asking for advice with their channel, and I'm happy to give advice. I really enjoy looking at the technical aspect of YouTube and trying to help people in that way. So I like doing it, but I am anticipating kind of a flood of emails from this, so don't expect like an immediate response from me. All right, this next one is from Titan Killer, and it is good vids. I really enjoy your vids and streams and have been subbed since around 15 subscribers. Awesome, that's good to hear that you've been around for so long, and you barely, if ever, talk about your family. So do you have any siblings? Do you like spending time with your family? How close are you with your family? So I did answer this in a Q&A like way back. I think even before I hit 15,000 subs. I have one sibling. I have an older sister. It's an older sister is what I was going to say. It's a little odd. Yes, I do have an older sister. Her name is Caitlin. And yeah, my parents are still together and everything. Like kind of a basic, normal family, boy and a girl and parents. And my sister just had a baby this past spring. She's, what, like 5 months old now, I think? Her name is Gemma. So I am now an uncle. Very first niece or nephew. Very first niece. And as for if I'm really close with my family, we're not like a super like touchy-feely emotional type family. So we don't like hug and stuff, and we don't say I love you all the time. But we're close in the sense that like we're open to talk about anything. Like I can talk about whatever. We're not super conservative. We're not super close, but at the same time, I feel comfortable talking to them about pretty much anything. And they help me out with so much, and I try to return that by helping them out labor-wise with a lot of things around their ranch and stuff. But haven't done any of that like throughout the whole summer, so I kind of feel bad about that. But yeah, I think that pretty much answers it. I do really enjoy spending time with my family, especially lately. Now that I moved out, I'm at my house. I only see them maybe once a week, so I really enjoy going out for dinner with them or having a barbecue with them, that kind of stuff. I do miss them a lot because, well, you're used to seeing them every day, and then suddenly you're moved out and you see them once a week now. I do miss them sometimes, but at the same time, I have no interest in moving back home, so I'm happy here. But yeah, that's kind of my whole family dynamic right there. All right, this next question is from Conor Lynch, and it is, Ace, where did you visit in Ireland? And love your Q&As. In the last Q&A, I mentioned a little bit my travels to Ireland, and that's why he's bringing that up. I pulled up a map here so I can hopefully remember. The way we traveled when I went on this trip to Ireland with a buddy of mine, we were just like all over the place. We had no actual like really set in stone plan, so we were hitchhiking, catching buses, like just going wherever we felt like at the time. So I had to bring up a map to remember this. So we started in Belfast. We came across, actually we flew across from Scotland. No, we took a ferry from Scotland across to Belfast. From Belfast, we actually hitchhiked all the way over to Sligo, which is where my friend that I was traveling with has some family there. And then from Sligo, I think we hitchhiked all the way back to Dublin. Spent some time in Dublin. We spent several days in Dublin. And then from there, where did we go from there? I think from there we went straight down to Cork. I think I might have gotten this backwards. No, I think we went Belfast, Dublin, Sligo, Sligo down to Cork. So that's what it was. Down to Cork. Stopped a few places here and there in between. I think we stopped in Limerick. And I think that was pretty much it for where we stopped. And then we flew out of Cork. We went to Lithuania from there. So yeah, that was my Ireland trip. I would love to go back though, for sure. Next questions comes from Brandon Adams, and it's actually 2 questions. First, if you were a stripper, what would your stage name be? I'm gonna have to go with Gingerbeard, or no, the Gingerbeard Man. There we go, the Gingerbeard Man. I thought about that a little bit. That would be the one. That'd be the coolest one, the Gingerbeard Man. Very sexy, I know. Second question is, how long after a video is posted do you still read the comments? Is it until the next video or what? For me, the way I check comments, it's constantly changing with YouTube. Like usually there was a little bell notification on the top right, and that would pop up every single time somebody commented on any one of my videos. Now it only pops up for if people reply to your comments, or even if they reply to other people's comments. It doesn't show up for every comment. So what I do is I open the comments page, and I see every single comment that's on my channel. I at least see every single comment. I don't reply to every comment, obviously. I don't have time for that. Or a lot of comments just don't need a reply. They're simply, great video. I'm not going to say thanks to everyone that says that, although I really appreciate when you say that. I do see every single comment on the channel. So even videos, I'm seeing comments sometimes on my Black Ops 2 videos from way back. I still see them. I still read them. So If you're ever worried about if I ever saw your comment, yes, I saw it. I'm sorry if I didn't reply to it, if it's something that should have had a reply to it, but there are some that slip through the crack there. Maybe I see them on my phone, and while I'm out on my phone, I just don't have time to reply to a comment, and then I forget to reply when I get back to my computer. So I do apologize for that, but I do get a fair number of comments, so I can't reply to absolutely everything. Next question is from Clear to See. Hey man, what's up? Thoughts on BD Dobbins for the wins, content, and mindset? I think he's like Drifter, but against Activision. Have a swell day. Well, thank you. I am having a swell day. All right, the BD Dobbins thing, I'm not usually the type of person that likes to get involved in any sort of drama to do with YouTube. So normally I just kind of stay out of it, don't share my opinion, but I'll just talk a little bit about this, not any specifics. I'm not going to go really in depth with this thing. BD Dobbins, I've known him, well, not known him personally, but I've had exchanges with him since before he was like, I think he had like 200 subscribers or something like that. Because he was actually on some forums that I was also on at the same time. And we disagreed about a few things, talked about a few things, like just within forums and things like that. I commented on some of his videos way back in the day when he was really small. He was actually quite a bit smaller than me at the time, and now he's surpassed me by quite a bit. And I will say with him, I really respect his ability to make content that is very searchable and also very engaging. Like it's something that really inspires a response. It's something that is really good at growing an audience and attracting people to the channel. So I definitely respect what he's doing on YouTube. Having said that, I disagree with a lot of what he says. I disagree with a lot of his opinions. I'm not getting into any details. Some things I do agree with him on, but a lot of it I really do just strongly disagree with. And I think that's really all that needs to be said. Next question comes from Brian, and this is, what is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done? Now, I'm sure there's something that tops this. I'm just trying to think of the most embarrassing thing, but I think I just kind of like block those thoughts out so I never think of the embarrassing things again. But just thinking back, in grade 12, we had a grad scavenger hunt. Now, normally a scavenger hunt, you're like looking for things and trying to get them. This is a different kind of scavenger hunt where you have to go and do things. And if you do them, then you get points. And there's different like groups that do this. So you have like your team, I guess it would be a team. And you have to go out and do various things that are embarrassing, illegal, some of them, borderline illegal, those sorts of things. Things that could get you into trouble, or things that are just embarrassing or fun or difficult to do or something like that. And one of them was actually to skinny dip in this pond that was behind our high school. So there's this like gross, it's like a dugout. It's not that gross, but there is this pond and it's like right behind the school. And nobody on my team wanted to do anything, it seemed like. So I was doing like everything for the team. So I skinny dipped behind the high school and there were people around. So things were seen. It was a little embarrassing, but honestly, I don't really care about that too much. It was a fun time. I definitely don't regret doing it. It was fun. I'd say that's the most embarrassing thing, or at least the first thing that really pops into my mind as the most embarrassing thing that I've ever done. Next question comes from Psycho Ninja. Have you ever thought about coming to Australia or New Zealand? Keep up the good work. Yes, I would love to. Like it's one of those things that's on my bucket list, sort of, but I don't have any immediate plans. So I don't see myself going there in the next year or two, but maybe like 5 years down the road, I see myself going there. I definitely do want to travel as much of the world as possible, especially while I'm still young. But like I said, it's not in my immediate plans. My more immediate plans are to go, I'm planning on going to Thailand next spring. Hopefully that works out. I'm just trying to work out details with my traveling buddy. Hopefully it works out though. I'm really looking forward to that. But as for Australia and New Zealand, no immediate plans. It is really far away. I think that's the biggest barrier for me, is it's just so far away. It's a long trip. It's an expensive trip just to get there and get home. And then also while you're there, it's not super cheap, I don't think. So, especially with the Canadian dollar being so low. But yeah, no immediate plans, but I would love to. Next question comes from SuperDan1989. When it comes to YouTube, is it okay to upload a different game every once in a while? I'm a daily Destiny uploader, and I don't want Destiny to die 10 years down the road and have my channel go down the drain. Or do you think someone should start a different channel like you did? This is a very difficult one. For a guy like me, I have a really niche sort of audience. I'm dedicated to helping people improve at Call of Duty. That's where most of you guys are coming from, I believe anyways. Most of you guys that are here, at least initially, because you wanted to improve at Call of Duty. For me to suddenly make a switch over to a completely different game, let's just say not even a first-person shooter. If I were to play Rocket League on my main channel, which I do on my second channel, if I were to do it on my main channel, there would be a lot of people that would instantly unsubscribe because they're thinking, well, this guy's not here to help me at Call of Duty anymore. That's the only reason I subscribed. There would be some loyal fans. There would be actually a lot of you guys would be the loyal fans because you're watching a Q&A from me, so you actually seem to care about me. Thank you guys. You're the best. There would be a lot that would stick through and they would love it. But for the most part, I think a lot of my audience would run away from that. Now, it depends on where you're at with your channel. I didn't look to see how many subscribers you have or anything like that or how long you've been doing it for. If you start early on, or at least relatively early on in your growth, uploading different games every now and then at least your subscribers see that as kind of the norm for your channel, and it makes it a whole lot easier to post different content down the road. Whereas if you stick to just one thing, you've only ever posted Destiny, then everyone that's there at your channel is there for Destiny. They might think it's a little weird. So I would say maybe try it out, play around with it, see what your audience thinks. If they don't like it, maybe think about starting a second channel if that's something you want to do. If they do like it, well, then you're home free, I guess. You can post a little bit more of that other stuff. Now, this is something that's kind of also, I wanted to talk personally about what I've been thinking about, especially this time of the year with Call of Duty. It's always a stale time of the year. A lot of people are done with Advanced Warfare. A lot of people don't need tips on Advanced Warfare, and they don't want to watch people playing Advanced Warfare. So it's a difficult time for me. Have to kind of transition into a lot of commentaries, like actual like topical commentaries, and I'm starting to think I might post the odd different game like maybe once a week, just until Black Ops 3 is released, just to gauge interest in it, because I'm enjoying myself with Rocket League, for instance. But I make a video, post it on my second channel, I get maybe a couple hundred views on it. I wouldn't mind seeing more of my audience engaged in that, seeing what they think of it. So I might try posting some different content on my channel every now and then. Of course, I'm not getting away from Call of Duty or anything. Holy crap, losing my voice. Let me know in the comment section below if you'd be alright with me posting a different game like once a week until Black Ops 3 releases. Next question comes from Harry Thomas. Have you ever had a near-death or very scary situation like a car crash, assault, etc.? I've definitely had a few near-death situations. I've never been in a car accident before, which awesome, thank you. I'm very, very happy for that, very thankful for that. Never been in an actual car accident. I've nearly hit moose a few times. Oh yes, I'm Canadian. There's actually moose here. It's a stereotype, but it's true. There's moose here. I've nearly hit moose a few times, and that's something where if you hit them at any sort of speed, you're dead. Like, there's just no chance. With their legs being up so high, if you hit them, they land like right on your windshield. They go right through your car and just destroy you. So definitely a couple close calls with moose, but still have yet to hit one, so that's good. I'm pretty good at keeping an eye out for those. Assaults, no, haven't really been assaulted seriously in any way. Actually, I don't think I've really ever been assaulted and not been able to kind of fight back, either with words or push back at least a little bit. But the one scariest situation I can think of was about 3 years ago. We have my parents at their ranch when I was living there. They have these big ugly trees, and they've got these huge branches coming off them about like, I don't know, 25 feet in the air, something like that. So we want to chop these trees down, but you have to chop the branches before the trees, otherwise it destroys like everything around. And they have like a little cabin thing that's right there. I call it the guest house because it's so fancy, but no, it's not that fancy. It's just like a little tiny log cabin type thing. I think it has running water, or no, it doesn't have running water, but it has electricity, so it's not like a big fancy guest house of any kind. We're not that rich, okay? But I had to climb up on a ladder that was a little bit shaky. My dad was holding it though. I had to climb up on a ladder with a chainsaw and hack off this log that was a pretty good size. It was pretty big. So I was up there with a chainsaw on this ladder that's moving around and sawing this log off, and the ladder slipped and I almost fell. I had the chainsaw. It was running, like the chain was spinning. It cut through the branch. I fell down a little bit, caught myself, like caught onto a branch. Chainsaw was like right down by my leg, and I almost fell out of the tree. If I would have fallen and not been able to throw the chainsaw out of the way, I probably would have landed on the chainsaw, and it would have been like a horror movie. It would have cut me up real bad. I don't think I would have survived that one. So that was probably, like, that's the most recent, really scary situation that's happened to me. Luckily, I wasn't even hurt at all. It was just like, I turned white instantly. I was shaking so bad because there was so much adrenaline going because, yeah, I was a millisecond away from death there, basically. Like, if one wrong move, if I wouldn't have caught that branch, I very likely could have died there. So that's just the one that came to mind that I wanted to share with you guys. Next question comes from Serious Dig. Do you think reverse boosting can decrease the skill of players? I assume you mean the skill of the players that are reverse boosting. And have you ever thought about doing it on Advanced Warfare? First off, I've never seriously considered doing it in Advanced Warfare. I've thought about like what would happen if I did. Like, yeah, I would probably drop DNA bombs a lot, and it would be super easy. I could get some great gameplays, but the backlash wouldn't be worth it. Plus, I would feel as if I'm cheating myself there. None of those DNA bombs would feel legitimate. It would just feel as though I'm cheating in the game, essentially. As for can it decrease the skill of players? I think it can make you so you're not as sharp as you normally are, because like when you play better players, they keep you on the top of your game for sure. But at the same time with Call of Duty, there is a skill ceiling. There is a point where you get to the point where you're not really going to make any significant improvements in your game from there on out. You might make like a 0.0001% improvement every now and then, but you're already basically as good as it's going to get. And honestly, I feel I've reached that skill ceiling in Advanced Warfare, or in a lot of Call of Duty games. I've reached that skill ceiling where I honestly don't expect to get much better than I already am. I'm as good as I feel like I'm going to get. And with the reverse boosting, I don't think it's going to make you worse. And that's simply because you've reached that skill ceiling. You're as good as you're going to be. So that's just how it is. So I think that's something that a lot of people don't consider with Call of Duty, especially with skill-based matchmaking, when they have the argument of you don't get better unless you play with players that are better than you, or at least at the same skill level. Well, I've reached the skill ceiling. I'm not really that interested in gaining that 0.0001% of skill by playing against the best of the best all the time. I want to play against noobs every once in a while. I want a nice variety. That's what I look for. That's my argument against skill-based matchmaking. I like variety. Sometimes you have a really tough fought game. Other times you have a game where you can drop a DNA bomb. And that's pretty much all I need to say about that. Next one is from Kevin Campos. Hey man, I've really been into watching Rocket League these past few days, and I would love to see you play it. I do have 2 quick videos. I just kind of edited them kind of into like a live comm montage without music. I don't know if that's what they call it these days. I edited them up and put them on my second channel. Maybe I'll link my second channel below if you just want to check those out. Go for it. I'm really enjoying myself with Rocket League. I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident with it. It's a very difficult game to get the basics down, but once you do, things get a whole lot easier. At least they seem to. And I would like to maybe try posting a video of that on my main channel at some point in the coming weeks here, because like I was saying earlier, Advanced Warfare is getting kind of stale. I'm basically resorting to just commentaries now, and I can't do that forever. So I want to maybe mix in the odd game like Rocket League. So again, let me know in the comment section below if you'd be interested in seeing a Rocket League video from me on the main channel. All right, moving on to the next question. This comes from Seaball Gaming. Hey Ace, you mentioned that you snowboard, so I'm wondering what board you have, and have you gone to any resorts in the States, more specifically Utah, Colorado, Wyoming? Also, oh yeah, that's for the Xbox giveaway, or the Control Freak giveaway. Okay, yes, I do snowboard. I actually didn't get out at all last year though, which is very disappointing. I can't call myself a snowboarder because I didn't even go once last year. No, I've never been to any resorts in the States because I live in Canada and I'm actually decently close to the mountains. I'm about a 4-hour drive away from the mountains, and we have some of the best snowboarding in the world up here, so I really don't see any reason to go down to the States to snowboard, although they do have some excellent resorts. I'm not saying that Canada's way better than them in this case. And in some ways, yes, we do have a lot better, but in other ways, you still have some excellent resorts down there. From what I've seen, like Colorado, like Jackson Hole area, like all that kind of stuff is amazing. But no, never been to an American resort. And my board is just I'm planning on getting a new one maybe this year. It's a Burton Blunt. It was my very first snowboard. I've only ever owned one snowboard in my life. I know it's weird, but I take care of it, so it lasts. It works. It's a 151 inch. I think they measure that in inches. Is it inches? No, centimeters. It's got to be. I don't know. It's a 151 Burton Blunt. It's not a really high-end one. It's kind of a mid-range snowboard, and it works for me, or it has worked for me over the years. I think it's time for a new one, though. So that's going to wrap it up for today's Q&A. Like I said at the beginning, if you have any questions for me, it can be about Call of Duty, video games, my personal life, anything goes, basically, that's not too ridiculously out there. Let me know in the comment section of this video, and I will do my best to answer it in the next Q&A, probably about a month or two down the road. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you guys next time.